whatever they were trying to do with Lan and Moiraine just did not work for me. Like, from the fights to the separation to the reconciliation to all of it, it was just such a contradiction. Hello, and welcome to Embodying Mystical Mac. I'm Mac, and if you're new here, thank you so much for joining. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Today, we have a much-awaited Wheel of Time Season 2 overview that I promised y'all. It is finally here. Thank you for your patience. If you did watch my Damsel trailer reaction, which might be coming out a little bit after this, or might be coming out before, it genuinely just depends on how it works out. Regardless though, they'll be very close to each other. I had this in the background and did not explain it at all. So that was for you, my Wheel of Time people, because I was gonna be recording this right after. So woohoo, we're back. We've got the Dragon Fang, we've got the Flame of Tarvalon, I still don't know how to pronounce that. Have to go back to my audiobooks to get all the pronunciations back. Which, by the way, I'm probably not going to be doing any book breakdowns anytime soon. Life is just really, really busy. I finally feel like I'm getting the hang of things a little bit, but it's still a little bit insane, and I'm really just prioritizing like books that I haven't read before that I really want to read and getting my joy through that. And it's not that I don't absolutely love the Wheel of Time, because y'all know I do. If you've been here, you know I do. It's just that Robert Jordan puts me through so much anxiety, even on the rereads, y'all, even on the rereads. So yeah, mainly just show stuff. I do have a few other videos that are show related that I think would be fun little niche things to do. Like, I know that I go on and on about the Adam mouthpiece, and I think I genuinely can make a whole video about why I don't like it and why I feel it was unnecessary and things like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, like, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to make those things. They're definitely in my little like ideas notes app situation that I keep like my potential backlog in. So if that's something that interests you, another one that I could definitely make a whole video on is how the writers of the show misunderstood the accepted trials and how it could have been better if they had just like understood it. Because the depiction of what they did wasn't bad in my opinion, but the fact that they just didn't get the assignment was bad. And I'm not going to go super into detail about this right here because I literally could make a whole other video about it. So that's examples. Those are a couple of examples of videos that I could make that I probably will get to at some point. There's just been a lot of different things coming up, and if you've kept up with my community posts, I've kind of been going through a challenging motivational time, and so in order to kind of get myself out of that, I did this overview, and then as well as a couple of reviews that I initially wasn't going to do. So there are going to be things coming, but those are other Wheel of Time content that I'm happy to make that don't involve me putting myself through the anguish that are the beautiful but long and really well written 14 books. When I say well written, I mean it as a compliment, and I mean it as the fact that it's the bane of my existence, because it's well written. That means that every single time I read those things and those challenging things and those anxiety inducing things, that is exactly what I'm going to feel. So Robert Jordan is way too good, and I cannot handle it right now. So yes, let's just jump into this Wheel of Time season 2 overview. We're just gonna be basically going through like my thoughts for the whole thing, and then I will be reading you some highlighted notes from all throughout the season as a little treat. My thoughts, my initial thoughts, right? Like, the aesthetics looked great, and I feel like I mentioned this in every single video that I made, because they really did. You could really tell that the art department like studied the descriptions. You can really tell that they tried their best to make it look like Wheel of Time, and I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. There are a couple of exceptions to the aesthetics though, and that is the Demone pacifier. That's what I'm gonna call it. The Demone pacifier. And Lanfear's modern and out of place Teleran Riyadh wardrobe. that was just a little too much for me. Like, the fact that she had that, like, weird, slicked back, short hairdo thing with the white button down, and I know she was, like, supposed to be, like, role-playing as somebody else, but it was just weird to me. And then don't get me started on the very beautiful, but just so distracting and so out of place, black dress that kind of made her look a little bit like a spider queen, when you get that scene when Rand is, like, tied up to the spokes of the wheel. I could not. This might be a nitpick to some, but to me, it just completely took me out. It would be like if the weaving was done, like, it's like if the weaving was done how the bending was done in the M. Night Shyamalan, is that how you pronounce his name? I really hope it is. I think that's how you pronounce his name, but I never know because of that. Why? Anyways, yeah, how the bending was done in that movie, like, if the weaving had been done like that, that's how distracting I feel these two things were. Lanfear's wardrobe in those two instances and the demonic pacifier, which is why I said added to the exception. Okay, so let's talk about the writing, okay? The writing, it got better. Like, I know that there are people in my comments that are literally, like, giving me immense amounts of crap for even giving the show absolutely anything. But this is my thing. I know that I have a bias, but even working with that bias, I'm gonna do my best to use the knowledge that I have about what makes a good script, what makes a good story, what makes something compelling and engaging in those realms, and I'm gonna try to be as fair as possible, okay? So I'm not gonna say the writing was always better, like, consistently throughout the episodes, but I will say that if I do, like, you know, an overall thinking about it kind of thought experiment, I do think that it was better than the prior season. So while it got better, though, it, like I said, it really didn't get better by much for me because it wasn't a consistent thing. Like, there were episodes where I was kind of compelled to keep watching, but for the most part, I still found myself asking questions about why characters were doing certain things and why that even makes sense, because it didn't. And those things. So yeah, while it got better, and I'm not gonna say it didn't, it's not like it got better by any significant amount, in my opinion. Part of the reason why I feel this way, there were contradictions, like so many contradictions in the writing itself. Elaine's intro being an example, right? Like, her coming in with all of these luxurious items, but then later we find out that she actually spent many summers in the tower, therefore would have been aware, like, I'm pretty sure that, you know, there would have been at least one or two novices, like, per summer, because I know the tower numbers had dwindled, but there had to be at least one or two novices per summer who would come in when Elaine was there in those many summers she spent. And she would have seen that she probably would have seen a royal, or, you know, not necessarily a royal, but like a lady, or like a merchant's daughter who had a lot of nice things, like try to bring some nice things and get reprimanded. So the fact that she, like, even tried is so ridiculous because of us finding that out later, right? Like, that was just really distracting, mind-boggling to me. As a contradiction example, Lan and Maureen's entire relationship, like, it was a complete contradiction to the actual books. It was a total contradiction to itself half the time. Like, I didn't know what they were doing half the time, honestly. Really, I don't know. And then the whole shielding BS was just such, like a weird, like, it was like, I don't know why, but the image I'm getting is, like, you know, instead of just figuring something out with them, it was like a ball of yarn got all, like, tangled up, and they just, like, left it there instead of, like, detangling it for the next person who's gonna use it. It was like whatever they were trying to do with Lan and Moiraine just did not work for me. Like, from the fights to the separation to the reconciliation to all of it, it was just such a contradiction a grand majority of the time. And then this like wishy-washy back and forth thing about how the bond is still there, but it's masked, but can it be masked, but she's stilled, and blah blah blah, just like literally added a bunch of complications to it that just did not need to be added. Yeah, like the visual that I get, it's like, you know, it's like, if I don't know why I'm getting so many yarn visuals, but like literally it's like instead of sorting the same color yarn into something, they just sorted all different colors of yarn and expected it to look uniform. And then as a little cherry on top, they just added a big wad of yarn that nobody bothered to detangle right in the middle of the basket. And that is what Moiraine and Lan's relationship looks like to me in this season 2, because it was just all over the place and in a contradiction in and of itself half the time. Okay. Contradictions. The Warder lore. Like, the Warder lore is so weird. Like, you know, you kind of get the sense that they're these protectors, but then we get this, like, incessant messaging about how they're, like, basically, like, glorified boyfriends or glorified lovers. And it's okay to mask if that's what you need to do. No, the fuck it's not. You're not gonna get into a triple bond with somebody if you guys aren't cool being in each other's heads. Like, and in her head too. And she's cool being in all your heads. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's so strange. It's the sacred thing, but then no, it's totally cool to mask it if you're uncomfortable with the guy and that's what's best for the group. Like, it is so, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't. Swan giving away her plan to Rand and then actually following through with what the Tower wants, which is so effing insane, because if those of us who read the book think back, what made Rand go bananas? The box, the effing box. So the fact that that's what Swan wants to do, and the fact that she's actually confessing it, total contradiction to how smart Swan actually should be. But also the whole thing a contradiction to how Swan should be, because she's actually willing to go with the stupid plan. Like, the whole thing was so dumb. Her revealing it, her actually being willing to go through with it, it was dumb. Matt being presented as evil for the sake of drama. Like, ugh. I could not. Matt is such a good character, and Matt is such a fun character, and why would you just, like, take the fun away? Why? Why would you just take the fun away by doing this weird back and forth thing with him, with the evil? And then don't even get me started with, like, how Perrin's wolf thing is suddenly turned into, like, him being born Ishamael's, and, like, all of that. Like, that was so dumb. And, like, of course it's a contradiction, because you're like, they're pushing Matt as, like, for you to think he's evil this whole time, and then bada bing, bada boom, he is a hero of the Horn. And you're supposed to just unravel all of the bits of story that they've given you to make you think that Matt is supposedly inherently dark in this one moment where the heroes welcome and tell him, like, yeah, man, you're one of us. What? Just weird. I didn't like it. Completely misunderstanding the accepted trials. Right? Like, almost getting it, then not quite getting it. Like, okay, you kind of sort of understand the stakes, but you twist them up in a way that it's actually no chore for Nynaeve to leave, because everyone that she loves is dead. So you, like, got the trial in a sense that it's, like, supposed to show this perfect life, but you didn't understand the fact that they're supposed to not want to leave. Therefore, you can't just fuck up that perfect life. You have to let it be perfect for them to make the heartbreaking decision of leaving it. Yeah, they didn't understand that. Hence why I could make a whole ass video. And in that video, I would go deeper, right? Like, I would bring up the actual trials in the books. Like, I would, you know, you get it. Okay. No one knows who Ishmael is in the Shanchan, but no mention of the Forsaken reincarnation tactic to explain it. Yeah, so this is my thing. Even the Shanchan know about the Forsaken. And unless we are introduced to the idea of the fact that they could incarnate into different bodies, which we really weren't in this season, like Lanfear just like, psh, I'm gonna call it one true powered herself back to life. Like, I'm gonna say it's that. But, yeah, in my mind, since they haven't established the whole reincarnation thing, everyone should know what Ishmael looks like, right? Like, including the Shanchan. Because even they know about the Forsaken. So it was just really weird to me that nobody knew who he was on the Shanchan side. But we didn't establish that, you know? We also hadn't established, like, any form of, like, glamoring abilities, which I don't really think that that's the thing that they... That's, like, the other books that I'm reading right now, getting in the lore. But no, there's no glamoring, right? So, yeah, I don't know. It was just really weird. It was really strange. I thought that was weird, that nobody knew what he looked like, even though we didn't really establish the fact that, like, they can change bodies. Humanizing Leandrin in the most bizarre and useless ways possible. Yeah, that was such a contradiction. It was so weird to me. Like, I would half the time I'd be like, why are they doing this? And the other half I'd be like, this is such a waste of time. Like, I wouldn't even ask why we're doing it anymore. I just jump straight ahead to like, this is such a stupid waste of time. Because it really was. Like, why are we humanizing this character? Like, I think one of the things this show really didn't understand is that, like, it is okay for certain characters to be evil. The thing is that evil in the perspective of the Wheel of Time is still a choice. And it's a choice that even our main characters are faced with quite a bit of the time. But you know, what makes them not evil, what makes them good, is that they look the choice in the face and they go no, and they go the other way, regardless of how they've been treated, regardless of what the world has led them to believe. And our evil characters are characters who use the things that have happened to them, right? Use the hurt that they've gone through to say, no, it's fine to take the evil choice because of these things that happened to me, right? And so I don't have any issues with us giving Leandrin a pass. I don't have issues with us giving her a little bit more substance, especially because it kind of seems like they're like morphing her with Elida a little bit, but Elida isn't dark or isn't Black Aja. So I don't know. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure though that Elida isn't. She's just a huge pain in the patootie. But yeah, like, I don't mind us giving her a pass. I don't mind us giving her more substance. What I do mind is us trying to, like, justify her evil choices a little bit with the way that we're giving her substance. It also really bothered me that one of the primary ways that they kind of humanized Leandrin towards Nynaeve was the goofy-ass trials. So that was kind of like, whoa, way to, like, ruin Nynaeve along for, I don't know, sacrifice Nynaeve's trials, like, actually being done well for this weird sympathy moment with Leandrin where she talks about her son. Which, by the way, she's a horrible mother because she literally openly admits that she didn't want her son to live because she couldn't bear the thought of him, like, not needing her and eventually dying. While she's an Aes Sedai who, you know, will remain young for a very long time because of the power. Or not young, but at least alive. And yeah, young to a degree. But even then, like, Cat Swain, who's super, super, super old, still looks young, but, you know, still, like, she looks like she's been graced by the one power and the usage of it, but she's still depicted to look older than the rest. So, regardless, though, it was really bizarre that the way they handled Leandrin. And a contradiction. Because she does ultimately end up doing evil things. Like, you know, she is Black Kaja, like, anyways. Okay, this was a weird little thing. I don't know if it was necessarily a contradiction, but it was a weird little thing. Showing a child interacting with a Trolloc for us to, one, never see her again, but two, for Trollocs to still be Trollocs. Okay, maybe this is a contradiction. Like, she's interacting with the Trolloc, and it's supposed to be like Ishamael being like, see, they're not so bad, like that kind of moment. But they are, though. And then also, again, we never see the child again. So I don't know. I don't know what that is all about. Let's see. Stringing along the shielded narrative for way too long. Yeah, that was really annoying. And they continuously contradicted themselves in that. And it was just, it felt like a waste of time. Like, it was one of those things that I was like, why are we wasting time with this? I didn't even ask why. I just jumped right to, like, we're wasting time. This is dumb. Okay, this is more just like a little nitpick that I have. Putting all the leads with Rand for the Dragon Banner reveal. Like, why did they all have to be standing there? Like, I understand them all being in one place at that tower, but why did we all have to stand up? Like, Rand's the only dragon. It was weird. It was a weird directorial choice for me. Okay, next here we have inconsistent character / story. Obviously we're still talking about the writing. These are, you know, the subcategories here. So inconsistent character work / story arc. Moiraine and Lan, all of it. I already said this. Nynaeve, the trials. I've already talked about this a little bit. When I wrote these notes, I didn't realize that some of these would be a bit redundant. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, here's a new one. Perrin, the one-note acting and the not being able to let the Layla storyline go. Like, it happened last season and we kept mentioning it this season, but it wasn't mentioned in an organic way. Like, if it had been mentioned in a way where it genuinely felt like he was still grieving, that would be one thing. But the way that it got mentioned just felt really not very seamless and not very well done from the writing standpoint. So it just kind of annoyed me. And then I don't know if this was directorial or what, but the actor who played Perrin, he did a fine job, except for the fact that it felt like his anger was always portrayed in a very, like, one-note way. And I didn't really appreciate that, because anger can be portrayed in very many different ways, right? It depends on the thing that you're angry about. There's a lot of factors that can go into portraying any emotion, and I just didn't appreciate the one-note version of it. Let's see. Lanfear, so there was a really weird inconsistency when she, like, magically stitched this woman's mouth shut, but in the real world, not in the dream world. That just stood out in my mind, because that's not consistent with the magic system. Like, what weave would do that? Like, please sound off in the comments what weave would do that. I can't think of one. And did she, you know, just, like, make twine right there, right then and there? And then did she use, like, air to, like, push? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's too complicated. I didn't like it. In the dream, yeah, totally plausible. Real life, no, didn't like that. Logain, he's stilled, but he can still effectively teach Rand and see the weaves still. Like, I didn't like that. I didn't like how they messed with the magic system like that. Also, it kind of seems like, yeah, I don't know. It kind of also seemed that some male characters could see Saidar, and some female characters could see Saidin. I can't think of specific examples, but I feel like it was they made it a lot easier to tell for the other side, which I really liked that about the source material, that either side couldn't really tell that each other was channeling apart from, like, a very faint sensation, right? So I didn't really like that. Okay, Errol, in the same lane as Logain, he has a lot of PTSD, but somehow can effectively teach Rand forms. I didn't get it. Yeah, I didn't get that. Especially because he just seems like a very anxious man. Like, he seems like he's constantly kind of looking over his shoulder and stuff. How is he going to focus long enough to, like, correct Rand or something? I don't know. I just didn't get it. Yeah. We already talked about Swan. The Shan-Chan. Okay, we needed the beasts. Or, like somehow. We didn't need necessarily to see them, but I feel like we needed more, like, tension built up around these foreign beasts that were eventually going to come. Yeah. And then the horn was a little goofy. A little goofy. Through and through, honestly. Okay. Let's talk about something decent. Something good. The highlights. I liked the relationship building of Nynaeve and Elaine. Those are sweet moments. I appreciated it. The Damane plot was awesome. I really enjoyed the Damane plot. I would have appreciated them going more the book route, and like I think in my episode breakdown I talk about how I didn't mind them, like how I didn't mind Rena kind of like breaking and like beating Elaine or Egwene kind of thing. I take that back after thinking about it, after reading some of your comments. I kind of wish they had stuck more to the way that the book did it, in the sense that, you know, it's not even worth the Suldam to break and beat their Damane, because they just see their Damane as like dogs to be trained. Like, they're not even worthy of getting your feelings all riled up over. And to me, that's a lot more chilling and like drives the point home a lot better. So I would have appreciated that approach a little bit more, but you know, it was, I guess, easier to go with like the physical outburst, and again, like I said, to dehumanize them to that degree where they're not even worth you getting riled up over. One might have been a little bit more difficult to portray accurately as possible without having some explanation or exposition. But two, I don't know, it's not like a major thing. They still portray the relationship being very gross and very weird, and I think that's the point. The dream world was cool. Tel'aran'rhiod and Rhiannon was cool. I do appreciate it when we go there. Except, I mean, the CG is sometimes a little weird, but for the most part, I appreciate it. The Aiel got a bit of a weird intro, but it fit, and they did slay. So yeah. I love the way that Moiraine did the dragon banner at the end. Like, that was really cool. I know it's not like the banner that like he carries into war, but you know what I mean, like the spiral dragon around the tower. I thought that was really cool. Let's see. Anvere, I really enjoyed that we got more of Anvere, because we don't really get a lot of her from my recalling it. What am I trying to say? From my recollections, there we go. I don't feel like we get a lot of her at all in the book, so I really appreciate that we got to see her be the queen that she is. I love that. The revelation of Varen and her search for the Black Aja starting, I thought that was great. I know that there wasn't exactly like an exact thing, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think like we saw Varen write any names in a book or anything. But it's clear that now she's like on the hunt, you know, after the whole thing with her figuring out that Shiriam had been compulsed and things like that. The tower stuff before the girls leave is pretty cool. I loved the lessons. I appreciate all that. Those are pretty cool. The wolf vision and the power, the wolf power was done really well. Like, if there's one thing I will commend them to have actually done really well, in my humble opinion, it is turning the wolf vision thing into reality in a way that genuinely looked cool and made sense visually, because that is one of the parts of the show or the books that I always had a hard time envisioning, right? Is this idea of how the wolves communicate visually. And you never really got much of wolf communication because it was just Perrin describing these images, and it was kind of hard to, like, for me anyway, it was just kind of hard to like put something concrete and visual in my mind to kind of like really imagine it. And I thought that the way that they did it was really, really cool. Like, you know, how Perrin is like sitting there talking to Elias, and Elias says how Hopper will reveal his name to Perrin when he's ready. And then, you know, a little bit later we see the visual that's clearly like a phantom image of Hopper like hopping up into the air, and that's when Perrin goes like, oh, Hopper, like that's his name. And anyways, it was really cool. That's something they did really well, and I really appreciated that. Thank you for bringing that part to life in a way better than my mind did. In a way that was better than my mind did. And then, okay, let's get into the highlighted notes here. We'll just read through them. I'm not going to talk about them. We're just going to read through, all right? So apparently I did not highlight any notes for episode 1. So, okay. Yeah. Season 2, episode 2, notes. Here we go. I called the Rand and Celine affair. Yes, I did. Why are Alana's warders in a meeting with Shiriam and chiming in frequently? That was so bizarre to me. Leandrin's son, it's her son, and he's in pain, and she rejects and slaps Nynaeve's help away. Why? One of those contradictions. I was very confused. Moiraine and Lan's bond is a dead, non-existent, never existed joke. So fun. So fun that was. We have to switch notebooks because the rest isn't here. Oh my god, I lied to you. I did highlight things from season 1, or from episode 1. Okay. Why are they all in a choreographed circle instead of in Shiriam's office? Do you remember that? So weird, the Aes Sedai having a private meeting in the public courtyard. Elias's eyes look like Twilight vampires. How is Loial alive? How was he alive? They never answer that. Why do we keep trying to make Layla happen? Moiraine wouldn't be that dumb. Cool fire sword, my man. Lan and Moiraine's bond is a joke. All right, well, that we knew. Let's move on to episode 3. The Damane look dumb with that mouthpiece. So Leandrin's threatening Egwene, a novice now. Again, just like openly in the tower. Matt is a coward? Really? Quote, the more wolf you are, the more you're mine. Quote, what in the forsaken hell, Ishamael? I'm sorry, no. Min working for Leandrin, great. Rand didn't even get his thing out. There was like a spicy scene, and literally they didn't even bother to like pretend like Rand had time to get his little thing out. It was dumb. Celine shouldn't see Sidene. There you go. There's an example. Yeah, that was weird. Land Jesus. We got Land Jesus. Woohoo. Episode 4. Moiraine suddenly super shrewd and inconsiderate. Yay. Still not sold on Raylene. Wasn't sold on the Rand-Celine romance. Land Jesus is back. Character assassination of Moiraine. Retcon. She's an ice queen now. So dumb. Goofy ass Moiraine and Logain scene. Horrible moppers. What is Egwene's excuse? Like Elaine, she is a princess. She did not have to mop anything. But Egwene, what is your excuse to be a horrible mopper? I don't know. Stop trying to make Layla happen. I feel like Regina George. Stop trying to make fetch happen. How can a bond be masked by an Aes Sedai who can't access the power? And the shielding yo-yoing begins. Dice! Fucking finally! Nynaeve's delayed trial was to bond her to Leandrin. Oh my goodness, is this even an adaptation anymore? No, it isn't. First mention of the eyes and ears. Really fucked Matt's story and Min's right along with it. I'm telling you, Mint is a thing. It's gonna happen. Episode 5. Why kill the horse? Take it with you. And the horse died for nothing. Just to show us how heartless Moiraine is for some reason. Layla. Enough said. More Moiraine, the villain, leaving that lady to face Lanfear. Great. Yes, Teleran Riyadh is dangerous, but not sleeping is also dangerous. Ugh, Moiraine. Yep, Shiriam's office was definitely big enough for a meeting, y'all. Leandrin trying to have the high ground morally when delivering women who channel to the fucking Shan-Chan is just comical. Leandrin telling on herself to Varen was pretty funny. Anver being more mature than Moiraine is quite hilarious, especially because they made Moiraine her older sister. Or wait, they made her younger sister, I think. Yeah, kind of funny. Anyways, Matt, the whole quote born mine quote thing from Ishmael, weird, didn't like that. Cool Adam visual, but you're showing that the goofy ass mouthpiece is optional? What the heck, guys? What the heck? Lanfear sewing a horse trader's mouth shut. It's fucking with the magic system. Episode 6. Liking Lanfear better. Better than Raylene. Mint is happening. Ugh, I'm telling you, we're gonna get more of it next season. Rena is gross. Well done, mission accomplished. Lan is a dark friend. Really, we're even playing with that. Egwene's journey and mental struggle is done quite well in the face of being and you know, she holds true in the face of being trained. Okay, so she's stilled, right? Like, officially, but the bond is still masked? The yo-yoing! Where are the strange beasts? I missed the beasts. Elaine's never had a friend before. Oh, that's sad. But that actress delivered that line really well, and that moment was very sweet. Truly terrifying watching the Adam take over Rima. It was very sad. Episode 7, Lan finally being Lan. Yes, Lan finally teaching Rand forms. Too bad it lasts 2 seconds. Elaine putting Nynaeve in her place. Love to see it. Lan and Moiraine showdown, and she is a PITCH. Stupid quote, if you were a girl quote line from Swan. Like, what the hell, writers? Just let the dragon be a man. He is a man, okay? Let it go, okay. Wheel of Time ayahuasca to replace the mirrors in the waist. And then we mess it up. If you're gonna replace the mirrors, can you at least tell Matt's actual story? No. So we did Wheel of Time Aya not to deepen Matt's character, but to get Ishmael to play babysitter. What? So Moiraine is shielded. I knew it. Why did we do this? I knew it. Anver is a boss. The weaves are gorgeous. They are. So Rand, excuse me. So Rand potentially choosing the dark is our actual main conflict. Really? That's so weak. White cloaks coming into Falma like the White Walkers. I thought that was funny. Interesting choice to cut Egwene's hair. I thought it was very unnecessary, but okay, let's just do the stereotypical, like, girl goes through things, must chop her hair off thing. Okay. Suldam getting the Damane treatment by Nynaeve was very chilling. Well done. Thanks for Lan and Moiraine reunion, but why did it have to be so cheesy? And why did it have to be so sensual? Like, why? Yeah. So Rand is about to go toe-to-toe with a Blade Master after being taught by Errol. What? Matt makes a staff with the dagger. I don't know how to feel about it, but I don't hate it. Rena gets some hard truths that she too can channel, but she's just weak. Anyway, Hopper's death, I saw it coming and I still bawled. At least I got Perrin to pick up the axe, I suppose. At least that wasn't a fridging that was meant to happen, so you know. I'm glad Uno was one of the heroes, especially if they killed him off so fast. Nice shot, Brigitte! Is it Brigitte or Brigitta? I feel like it's Brigitte. I don't know. I feel like Brigitte's or Brigitta is one of the names that gets like pronounced slightly different from one set of books to another set of books. So forgive me for that. If you want to correct me in the comments, please do so kindly. Oh yeah, maybe snap the wings off the arrow before just pushing it through. Like, I think it was, like, Nynaeve or Elaine or somebody that got injured because they got shot with an arrow. And, like, literally, instead of being, like, you know, smart and, like, snapping the wing off and, like, pushing it through to the other side. I don't remember if it was deep enough for that, but it seemed like it was really, really, really deep. And so, I don't know, it was just really, it was a weird choice to, like, have the arrow, like, just pull the arrow out, because, like, arrowheads are, like, built in such a way that when you pull them out like that, they actually do more damage. It was a very weird thing, and I'm like, I feel like that's something I should have known as a healer, but okay. So, Egwene rescues Rand. Ugh, why? Equality, please, honestly. Really stagey pose at the end, but yeah, okay. And then last note of the whole season, all forgotten are loose now, or I don't know. Yeah, those are all my highlighted notes. I hope you enjoyed that. Honestly, overall, like, C for effort, you know, not even like a 70% C, like a C minus, honestly, for effort, for trying to be better. But, like, honestly, you're still working with the really horrible foundation that was season 1. And just like I said in one of my reviews, one of my episode breakdowns, I literally said, like, yeah, okay, you're trying to polish a little pile of poop, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still a little pile of poop, you know? And the fact that they chose to just veer away from the source material in such, like, dumb ways the first season really unfortunately set them up horribly in this second season, that even if they had better writing going on sometimes, even if they had, like, a better idea of where they wanted to go with certain characters sometimes, they found themselves having to do these, like, weird roundabout things in order to find themselves there, which wouldn't have happened if they had just been more discerning of what to keep and what to change. So yeah, those are my feelings on the season 2 of Wheel of Time, of Amazon's Wheel of Time. I love the books. They're phenomenal. And I will eventually do, like, a little reread and do a video on it. But to be honest, like, I don't even know how to begin to wrap my head around that right now. So if you are interested in some of the topics that I mentioned earlier, about the show, you know, the demonic pacifier, and like how they horribly misunderstood the accepted trials. If there's another thing that you think I kind of harped on a lot that you would want a deeper video on, you could totally throw that in the comments as well. And just thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. For those of you that also watch my other content, not just the Wheel of Time content, thank you so much for doing that. I really, really appreciate it. And for those of you that just hang for the Wheel of Time, I'm really grateful for your patience while I get these videos to you. And, you know, I know that while we don't have a season going on, there's not a whole lot from me that you see, but whenever I see things that are, like, you know, announcements or trailers or anything like that, obviously, there's a little high likelihood that I'm going to come on and talk about it. And if there is something that you do especially want me to talk about, like, feel free to go on one of these videos and just comment that, and I will keep an eye out. So yeah, thank you. If you've made it this far, please consider liking the video, please consider subscribing to this channel, and please consider clicking the bell, because I do post regularly, but I don't post on a schedule. And all of those things really, really help the channel grow, really, really helps me get one step closer to making this a career and making myself available to not only do, you know, hopefully I'm trying to get to, like, one video a week, but right now it's kind of more like one video every week and a half, every 2 weeks. By making this my full-time thing, I would be able to, for sure, bring you that video a week, and probably another one too, which would be really, really, really fun. So thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for clicking the bell. Thank you for helping my channel out in that way. I appreciate you. Also, I did enter this contest. It's called Karaoke Knockout, and I need some votes in order to make it to the live competition here in LA. So if you would like to throw me a vote, I would really appreciate it. You can go to my channel page, and you can go to my Linktree link, and it'll be the first link that you see. So vote for your girl. I do have some singing videos up here if you want to check them out. I also have plenty on my Instagram if you want to check that out. Which brings me to the fact that you can find me on social media at Embodying Mystical Mac. You can also find my music account at Mac and the Music. And if you've made it this far, let's comment a snake emoji for the Ouroboros, you know? Let's do that. Let's comment the snake emoji. I like that emoji. And if you feel so inclined, you can check out my affiliates down in the description. You can also check out how to book a tarot reading with me if that's something you're interested in. And I'm just really grateful you're here. Thank you so much. If you have liked the video or liked my videos in general, if you have subscribed to the channel, if you have clicked that bell, I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And those of you that are just here along for the ride, thank you to you also. I hope you stay mystical, I hope you stay grounded, and I hope that you always find water and shade. I'll catch you next time.